Being a nutrition coach is many people's dream job. Maybe you've gone through a transformation yourself and you know how great it feels to care for your body and eat healthier, and you want to share that passion with others. Maybe you're in the health and fitness space and you already kind of have the exercise piece nailed down, but you know your clients could get way better results if you helped guide them through the journey of better eating habits. So it is an amazing career. It's an amazing revenue stream, but also it can be a little bit overwhelming. You know that this is something you want to get off the ground, but what exactly is the next step or hundreds of steps you have to go through in order to make this a reality? Today, that's exactly what we're going to dive into. So my hope is to break down some of the overwhelm around getting a nutrition coaching practice off the ground. And we're going to go through the 6 key steps or 6 key areas to think about in order to make this go from a dream in your head into a reality. Well, hello, my name is Jennifer Broxterman. I'm a registered dietitian and one of the co-founders of Prosper Nutrition Coaching. I am so excited to get into this 6-step guide, and we're actually going to have this as a free download at the end of today's video. So if you want to take away a little worksheet of everything we're going to talk through, you'll have a nice clear guide of step-by-step what to answer, what to fill out to really help shape and move this forward. So I'm going to start with the 6 major categories. And it actually goes back to elementary school when we were first learning to, draft a story or to work out a plan. And it's to go through who, what, where, when, why, and how. And I know that sounds so simple, but if we kind of map that out on a piece of paper or in a Google Word doc or wherever you want to dump some thoughts down, if you can go through those 6 questions, and I'm going to prompt you with some subcomponents to each of the 6 categories, you're going to find it's much less confusing and a lot less overwhelming to create a really fast, almost business plan to start to get this nutrition revenue stream off the ground. So let's begin with the first category, which is who. So we have a big question mark, and that question mark that needs to be filled in is 2 types of who. Who is going to be the nutrition coach, and who is going to be the ideal nutrition avatar. So coach, is that yourself who wants to step into a nutrition coaching role? Do you own a facility like a gym where maybe you have a great coach or 2 who wants to make a little bit more income, maybe is really passionate about nutrition and has always wanted to add some coaching in this area to your offerings and your services that you provide your clients with? Do you want to be more in that management position where you have a team of nutrition coaches underneath you that you're sort of the overseer of the program, but maybe not doing the one-on-one coaching yourself? So who is going to step into this role? Ideally, you don't necessarily need to have to hire for credentials and years of experience. Personality is a really important component when you're deciding on who would be a good fit. You need someone that's really warm, really empathetic, a really strong listener, someone that's actually very open-minded. You don't necessarily want a nutrition coach that's so dogmatic and has bought into just one style of healthy eating. Because in fact, there's many right ways to eat healthy, just like there's many right ways to move our body to be in good shape and to care for ourselves. So with nutrition coaching, there isn't a one size fits all. And you want to make sure that whether it's yourself or someone you're bringing in, your coach is really open-minded to meeting the client where they're at, understanding them deeply, understanding their life, their challenges, their goals, and then helping them to create a more individualized nutrition plan that walks them towards the direction of the outcomes and goals they want to achieve. So who would fill that role very nicely? Then we have to also ask who on the client side of the equation. Who are you really excited to serve? Who's your ideal customer, your ideal client avatar? Do you want to work with what we call Gen Pop or general population health and wellness clients? Maybe they want to eat a little bit better to have a bit more energy. Maybe they want to lose a little bit of weight in a healthy and sustainable way. Maybe you want to get really into plant-based coaching and target people who want to be more vegetarian, vegan, flexitarian in their eating habits. Maybe your world is all high performance athletes and you really want to help athletes fuel themselves for performance, recover well from their workouts, reduce the risk of getting injured, improve their body composition and their leanness. Maybe you want to work with older adults and help them age well and take care of their brain and physical health so they can live independently as long as possible. So those are just a few sub-examples. Maybe you're a new mom yourself and you know what it's like to be in that postpartum period, sleepless nights, juggling, infant feeding and introduction to solids and a toddler at home. And you just want to help make healthy eating simpler and more streamlined for busy new families. So there are so many niches that you can basically serve, but who are you really well suited for? And know that you don't have to be everything to everyone. In fact, it's okay to exclude some groups that maybe you're not as comfortable with or strong working with, but identify and know who it is you want to target and work with. So after we kind of answer those two who questions, who is your ideal nutrition coach? Who is your ideal nutrition client? The next thing we're going to get into is what. So what do you want to sell? What type of nutrition coaching do you want to offer? Do you want to do only one-on-one nutrition coaching packages? Do you want to do a mix of some group and some group Zoom calls with some individualized coaching? Do you want to use a technology supported platform? So one of the things we use in our private practice is a platform called Coach Catalyst, where we have programs built out. So I'll do a mix of sometimes face-to-face in person and also some workplace wellness. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll do presentations for corporations, universities, sports teams, for instance, and I get paid not only for my time to public speak, but then as a follow-up, we offer sort of a 6-week program called Powerful Progress, where people can sign up and it's all habit-based, very healthy step-by-step actions people can complete each day. But the computer helps me coach because once a client goes into the list of clients in the program, every day the program drips out the next lesson. It will communicate via text messaging with them. There's little lessons and actions to complete. And so that's a great way to coach at scale. For instance, maybe you haven't thought about that. Do you want to find other ways to have a nutrition revenue stream? So one tool that we take advantage of at our facility is we have a bod pod scanner. Some people might have access to, for instance, an in-body scanner. And so what these scanners do is they can do a read of someone's muscle mass and their body fat percent. It gives you an idea of sort of their resting metabolic rate. So how many calories is their body burning at rest? It can do an extrapolation to how many calories based on their muscle mass is it predicted that they need per day to maintain their weight. So we'll sell just the scans on their own, which often becomes sort of a lead generator for people that are interested in working with us for one-on-one nutrition counseling. So there's no right or wrong. Maybe you want to go really, really high ticket, high price point, but fewer clients with a ton of interaction. Maybe you're willing to text daily with your clients, have bi-weekly or weekly calls, and you're going to see less people, but be very intense and very, very hands-on with the less number of people that you're working with. And for that, you're going to have to charge a much higher price point. So again, there's no right or wrong when building your nutrition business, but just some ideas to get the juices flowing. Then we're going to move from what into where. So physically, where is this going to actually take place? Are you going to do in-person counseling and you're going to need an office space to be able to do that? Maybe that might be out of a spare bedroom in your house. Maybe that's going to be in a little office inside of a gym. Maybe you're going to rent a co-working space for a few hours a week. And then that's when you're going to book your face-to-face appointments. Maybe you want to do in-house client visits to their direct home. Or maybe it's actually easier to have the flexibility and work over video. So the nice thing about our very global connected world is with the switch of a button, you can just have someone on the other side of the screen from anywhere in the world, essentially. So maybe it might make sense to have a Zoom account, or you might need a HIPAA compliant account So we use something called Doxy, which is a healthcare provider service. You can get a free version and a paid provider service where all the encryption and checks and balances are in place in order to make sure that we have a really secure connection when we talk about medical stuff via video. Maybe you might do a combination of some in-person and some video. So again, there isn't a right or wrong, but when you're starting to plan out your perfect day, your perfect nutrition coaching role, you have to think about how and where you're going to facilitate the nutrition sessions as they take place. The next thing that I actually think is surprisingly overlooked when people start to embark on becoming a nutrition coach is where the heck is this going to fit into your weekly schedule? So if you open up your calendar and you take a look at all the commitments you have, your work commitments, your family commitments, your self-care commitments like exercising and grocery shopping and doing your laundry, cleaning your house, where in your week do you have time to be a nutrition coach? And so here's actually a suggestion I'd like to make so that you don't just blow up your life in flames and go quit your day job before you have any clients ready, is to start to create a schedule of a theoretical version of what it would look like if you had a full schedule of nutrition clients. So you might decide that you could see 3 clients on a Monday and maybe no clients on Tuesday because that's a really busy family day, and then 2 clients on a Wednesday and maybe a client on a Friday and 2 clients on a Saturday morning twice a month. So say I'm just making that up, but say that's your schedule. Well, in the beginning, you're not necessarily going to have clients to fill those times. However, here's the beauty of drafting your skeleton nutrition counseling schedule. If you want this to get off the ground successfully, what you need to start to do is build your know, like, and trust factor. AKA, people have to know who you are and that you're a qualified and credible and knowledgeable and kind and welcoming nutrition coach. They have to actually like your personality and what you're talking about. And they have to trust that you're the person to put their faith in, to spend their money with, to invest their time and hard-earned money, that you're going to deliver results. So in this shadow schedule of this in-between time of I want to be a nutrition coach, but I don't really have many clients yet, using that weekly schedule to write blogs, produce videos, market, answer questions on social media, just do nutrition-related education and sharing. And whether you want to call that educating, whether you want to call that marketing, it all kind of falls under the same umbrella, where you are basically showing the public that you're someone that's knowledgeable, trustworthy, and credible. And that's going to build some trust for people to reach out and start to work with you. So I find coaches just don't make time in their schedule to even broadcast and let people know that they're available for nutrition coaching. And they're sitting around hoping someone will contact them. And then also they don't really have any time to work with clients if someone does reach out. So by carving out that shadow schedule, knowing where that's going to be protected in your calendar, and then maybe that's when you work a little bit on your website, or you do a blog post, or you shoot a quick video. You can use that time for nutrition promotion until that time starts to get taken over with actual nutrition counseling with real clients. And then as that grows, maybe then you start to pull time off from other segments of your life. So maybe you work a little bit less at your regular job that's a little less fulfilling until you're at this tipping point where you have so much stability and income and a client base in your nutrition position that it feels a lot less overwhelming and scary to take the leap of faith and go do this maybe full time. So that would be my advice when you're thinking about the when in your schedule is this going to happen. My next favorite area to discuss is the why. And this is kind of why be a nutrition coach. Why is this near and dear to your heart? Are you doing this to really have a positive impact and feel like your job, your career, your calling is to make the world a happier, healthier, better place where you're helping people reduce the risk of health concerns, have more energy, feel more confident and comfortable in their bodies, and just learn how to take better care of themselves through their nutrition choices? Maybe you've been through an incredible transformation yourself. And if that's the case, congratulations for working so hard to make that happen for yourself. And you now know how great you feel that you just want to share that passion for healthy eating with others. Maybe you're doing this because you're burnt out in the role that you currently serve in another career, and you're, bored at your desk job, you're working really long hours for a company that doesn't recognize, the extra effort that you put in. Maybe you're a fitness professional and the really, really early mornings and the really, really late nights are starting to take away from your family time, your sleep, your own self-care. And I mean, one of the pluses of being a nutrition coach is I've never had a nutrition client asked to meet with me at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. So the hours tend to be a little bit better. And maybe your why is to not only help people live healthier lives, but for you to live a healthier life through better work-life balance. So get really clear about what your why is. And you might have many whys, why you want to become a nutrition coach, because it isn't just sunshine and roses getting a nutrition coaching business off the ground. And there are going to be really tough days, or there are going to be days that you doubt yourself or your ability to make this work. And so if you are super clear on your why, it's something to tap into on the days that you're maybe feeling like you're struggling with your passion, or you're exhausted, or you still feel like there's a lot of work in front of you before you get a full roster of clients. So knowing your why is really important. Lastly, if we talk about the how, this is where we start to get into the nitty-gritty of the logistics. So some example how questions. How are you going to price things? Well, one of the things we offer inside of our Prosper Nutrition Coaching course is you actually get to sit down for 4 hours of mentoring support with our nutrition and our business mentors. So they're going to sit down with you and figure out your avatar, your ideal nutrition client. What's the market like, that your geographical part of the world? Where do you live? What's sort of the income level of the clients you want to serve? How do you want to bundle services? Do you want to do month-to-month packages? Do you want to do a bundle of sessions? Do you want to bring in other types of forms of revenue, like the in-body or the bod pod scans? So there's lots of different ways you can offer nutrition coaching. We're going to help you solve how do you actually do that. Another really important how is, how are people going to know that you exist? Are you going to, put a lot of content up on social media, constantly educating the public on healthy eating choices so they know without a shadow of a doubt that you're a nutrition coach who is accepting clients? Do you need to put a section on your website or build an entirely new website broadcasting that you're a nutrition coach and this is how it works to work with you and how to sign up? Are you going to get business cards made? Do you need to update your profile and your credentials? So how are people going to know that you're available and open for business? How is someone going to contact you? Do you want people messaging you on social media in private DMs? Do you want people to email you? Do you want people to book a clarity call or a free discovery call? Do you want people to physically walk into your business and talk to a receptionist and book an appointment? Hopefully it's not just chaos, but you got to create an infrastructure and a system of how you want things to flow so that you can go from putting information out there and letting people know that you're available as a nutrition coach to actually locking in a sale and having someone show up in your calendar ready to work with you. How are you going to schedule and organize clients? Are you going to use Google Calendar or iCal or Outlook? Are you going to have a physical calendar where you write things down? I would really recommend having a reoccurring weekly schedule and creating some kind of a system where you have booking links that you can email out to clients that shows your calendar in live time. So for a really long time, I used to just use Google Calendar, which I still do with booking links now, but it would be this back and forth email, debacle of when would you like to meet with me? How about this? Oh, that time's now taken. What else works for you? And it would take like 3 to 4 emails just to lock in a time. Where now that I use Acuity, for example, I'll just send someone my live booking link and say, hey, this shows what I have open in real time. Click the link, enter your name, and grab a spot that works for you. And then magically, they're in my calendar. It starts to take care of all the confirmation messages, the reminder emails, the what to bring for your first appointment paperwork. And it's all done computer generated, where I just fire out that link one time and then the system takes over for me. But it took a while before I had that system built out. And my biggest regret is I didn't think through that system early enough and create the infrastructure to make it so much easier on myself admin-wise to go back and forth with clients and get them into the system. Another thing that's important to think about as a how is all about your social proof. So people need to trust you and believe that you as a coach are going to be able to help someone like them. And social proof is the way that we do that, the way that we communicate that message. It can be things like getting Google reviews and positive testimonials on, say, your Facebook page. It is, depending on if you're allowed to do this in parts of the world, getting photographic evidence. Maybe a client's face is covered, but they have a before and an after. Maybe it's clients sharing their consistency wins with goal charts of how much they've done a particular habit and checked it off. Maybe it's clients taking pictures of healthier plates, vegetable buckets, examples of them living out the goals that they've set in your nutrition counseling sessions. But essentially, how are you going to demonstrate this social proof to the audience that you're starting to build so other people can believe that A, you know your stuff, and B, someone like them will benefit from the services that you offer. Another thing to think about is, how are you going to start to keep track when you have 2 clients, 10 clients, 20 clients, 200 clients, what everyone is working on? I don't recommend trying to just keep it all in your brain unless you have a superhuman memory capacity. And if you do, congratulations on that. But for us mere mortals, it's very easy to mix up clients because we're talking about really similar goals. I mean, when you have smaller numbers, you'll know them really well. But as you get to bigger numbers of clients or clients over 4, 5, 10 years of counseling, it does start to blur together a little bit. So what system are you going to use to track how each person is doing and what you talked about? Are you going to do pen and paper charting? Are you going to do notes in Google Docs? Are you going to have a digital platform? So again, one of the ones I've mentioned earlier that we use is Coach Catalyst, and that lets us have clients upload progress photos. They can track their body composition and their weight. But more importantly, this is where we put their goals, their action steps out of each appointment. And then each time we meet, we can go into the database and modify what action steps they're working on. And then it just uploads it all into their phone for them. So at the click of the button each day, they can tap off, yep, I had my first serving of veggies today. Yep, I had my second serving of veggies today. And then as a coach, I can log into the back end of the dashboard and I can see in real time what's going on with their choices and how consistent they're being. So having systems for how you're going to keep track of all your different client information, what resources have you shared with them already? I like to have a space even for notes, like what are their kids' names, their pets' names, their significant other, their birthday. Maybe they have a wedding date coming up or a baby due date. And you want to show that you're not dropping the ball and you're not forgetting these important details that they've shared with you. So my question to you as a coach is, how are you going to organize all of that? Another last thing is basically, how are you going to build out all the resources? So I have in our private practice 40, 50, 60, I've lost track at this point, but client games, client handouts, client activities, kid-friendly resources, vegetarian, vegan-friendly resources, athlete-friendly resources. Now that took me years of work to put all of that together. So do you want to carve out maybe an hour a week in that nutrition schedule of just building your resource bank? Or do you want to skip ahead a couple of steps? And one of the cool things we were able to offer inside of our Prosper All-In course is we basically have all of our resources ready to download and use at your own. So the basic version of the course, you can get all of our resources, but they're still branded with like my company name, since it is technically my intellectual property. But what we did in the all-in version is we gave you an access pass to scrub out essentially our logo and our name, and you can insert your logo and your name to make it look like you created these beautiful, amazing resources entirely from scratch. So you can do it yourself. That's totally an option. Or there's the fast track, which is just like pay for done, throw your logo in there, throw your own name in there, and you've got a fully built out private practice of nutrition resources ready to go, games, handouts, activities to use with clients. But if you're starting from zero, you are going to have to answer that question of what do you want to build and how are you going to build that? Are you going to use Canva? Are you going to use a graphics designer? Are you pretty technical and you can make it look pretty and nice yourself? But how? You're going to have to answer that question as well. So I know this can seem really, really overwhelming. and just take a step back instead of letting your mind spin out. And what we have on the screen is we have a downloadable guide that just lets you go through the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, the how. You don't have to actually figure out all these answers in one day. In fact, this is weeks or months of work before you get all the systems put into place. But it gives you a really great checklist so that way you can just go through step by step. And maybe in that weekly nutrition schedule, you're like, cool, I have 3 hours this week. I'm going to get as much done as I can from the checklist in the 3 hours that I have. And I don't have to worry about it. I know I moved my business forward 3 hours this week. And then the next week, when your next 3 hours comes up into your schedule, you just pick up the checklist, you get right back into where you left off, and you work ahead another 3 hours. And so that's my advice for reducing the overwhelm. It can feel like a lot, but in all reality, especially if you're open to us helping you get there a little bit faster, we've spent years getting these systems in place. And that's why we want to just have you focus on the part that got you excited in the first place, which is to be a really great nutrition coach. So not only do we want to help you with a nutrition coaching certification and all the nutrition training videos, but we just want to give you the systems that we know that work. We know we've tested them out for more than a decade. Clients don't get dropped in the queue. They respond really well to this style of coaching. And you've got the business infrastructure to make it 100x easier on yourself, that you don't have to reinvent the wheel from scratch. So absolutely feel free to grab that downloadable PDF. That's an amazing guide to help you, again, go through that checklist. And I hope if you got any one takeaway from today's video, it's just protect a little bit of time every week and just start to chip your way through the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, the how. And in no time, I mean, the time's going to pass anyways, you're going to be building your own dream job as a nutrition coach. So I'm honored that you took the time to spend this little bit of time in your day with me. Again, I'm Jennifer Broxterman, registered dietitian and one of the co-founders of Prosper Nutrition Coaching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.